this young lady will take a reasonable cut for herself and cut us a nice, clean check.
My 5-year-old makes better paintings.
That's the beauty of this, you cretin.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 heist thriller with a little bit of comedy thrown in, The Kill Room. The film is directed by Nicole Payon and it stars Uma Thurman, Joe Manganiello and Samuel L. Jackson. Right, the film focuses on Uma Thurman's character, Patrice, who is an art dealer. She's got her own art gallery. She's struggling really. She's not really selling much art. She's not really got any connections with any real top artists. So she's kind of struggling a little bit, struggling to find a way. She's struggling for money. And she ends up kind of making a deal with Samuel L. Jackson's character, who is a bit of a con artist. You know, he works for a local gangster. And he basically proposes to her, look, I'll get somebody to paint something for you. It doesn't matter how good or bad it is, it'll be garbage. However, you pretend you sell it to a dealer, cut us a check, so it kind of launders their money sort of thing, and she'll get a cut of it, they'll get a cut of it, and nobody knows any different. The books are clean. So they get this really nice little scheme going. And Joe Manganiello's character, Reggie, is like Samuel L. Jackson's bodyguard stroke hitman, basically. He's called the Bagman. He basically kills people by putting a plastic bag over their head. And Samuel L. Jackson gets him to do the painting. He says, basically, paint something. He ain't an artist, so he paints these horrific paintings that look terrible. But the art world being what it is, he becomes a little bit of a sensation in the art world, and everybody wants a piece of the Bagman. The money starts going through the roof. The top art dealers all over the world want a piece of this art, and it all starts getting out of control because they want it down low, under the radar, obviously, these gangsters. And Joe Manganiello wants out, as does Uma Thurman, so they have to kind of hatch a plan that will please everybody. Right, what are my thoughts on The Kill Room? Well, it's not an easy film to explain, I suppose, this film, but it's a lot of fun to watch. I have to say, I went into this film with fairly low expectations, which sounds odd when you look at the cast, but that's only because Samuel L. Jackson, basically, as great as he is, will do anything, it would seem. You know what I mean? He's in so many films. Uma Thurman, if you like, hasn't been, and I don't want to be rude here, she's not really been relevant for a few years. And Joe Manganiello, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's what it is what it is. You know, he's not exactly an A-lister, but they're all established. So I kind of went into this thing not knowing exactly what to expect. I didn't know much about the film. And I came out at the end of it really quite pleasantly surprised by this. It's a really fun watch. For me, it kind of spoke to me in regards to how I feel about art. You know, I'm not an artist. I'm not a talented artist by any stretch of the imagination at all. But I'm one of these that kind of think, you know, if an established artist or painter, you know what I mean, shat on a piece of on some page on a page and then, you know, smeared it everywhere, the art critics all over the world and the art fans they'd faint and trip over themselves to try and buy it. You know, it's not necessarily who you know, it's, you know, what you know, it's who you know in the art world, isn't it? And this film perfectly shows this off. You know, the fact that, you know, this Reggie character is told just to paint anything, so he paints like just the most abstract and bizarre stuff, and people are tripping over themselves to try and get a piece of it because they think it's, you know, from this new cool hip artist that everybody's talking about. So it really does tick a lot of boxes for the layman's out there, you know, the likes of you and me, who look at art and think, who would buy that? It's garbage. So it kind of understands the audience that's watching this, really, and it's got its tongue firmly stuffed in its cheek as well. It doesn't take itself massively serious, this film. There are some fun moments here and there. The comedy is what I would describe as light here, and occasionally a bit of a dark comedy as well. So it's not in your face comedy at all. It's quite light, and it's almost like a situational comedy here and there. You know, the fact that, you know, Uma Thurman initially is a struggling art dealer, and then she's kind of in so deep in this situation she gets her in, she just keeps digging herself in deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper the more she figures out who she's doing business with. And then on the other side of it, you've got Joe Manganiello's character Reggie, who is, you know, obviously he's a very dangerous man, but he wants out as well, and he's actually his very soul. He's not exactly who he is. You know, this guy that kills people by putting bags on their head. He doesn't, you know, it's not who he wants to be. So he wants to change his life, sort of thing. And then you've got Samuel L. Jackson in the middle, who is, for me, kind of the highlight of the film. No, I think Uma Thurman steals the film, I suppose, but Samuel L. Jackson's performance is probably the real comedy of the film, I suppose. You know, it's full of one-liners, is full of quips, and it just works. We even get an appearance in the film from Maya Hawke, who is Uma Thurman's daughter, who she had with Ethan Hawke, I believe it is. So there's lots of little things going on in this film, and it kind of, it's one of those things that bubbles along, and you're kind of like, oh, they're getting into this situation, they're never going to get out of it. And then sometimes these films, they kind of miss the landing, and you don't get like a conclusion to the film that's either interesting or, you know, it just doesn't finish strong. This is the other way around. It actually finishes way stronger than it starts, this film, because it kind of becomes like a heist film by the end of it. You know, they've got to kind of come up with a plan to get out of business with these local gangsters, and the only way they'll let them kind of sever the ties, these gangsters, is if they give them something that's absolutely impossible to give. So they have to come up and hatch a plan of how they're going to do that sort of thing, and how that is concluded. And it's good, it works, it's fun. So for me, this was a nice little pleasant surprise. It's a fun film. It's very well made. It's got nice performances in it. It was really nice to see Uma Thurman really back on the form here. You know, she's a central piece of this film, and she really does carry it very, very well. You kind of forget how good Uma Thurman was, I suppose. Samuel L. Jackson, obviously great, and Joe Manganiello, it actually plays quite a layered character here, because he could easily have been a one-dimensional character, his as well, but actually, as it turns out, he plays the part, quite a complex part, and does quite a decent job with it. So it kind of raised my eyebrows a bit, really, for his acting here in this film. So yeah, I think this is worth checking out if you like a good kind of, you know, heist film with a little bit of comedy thrown in there. I think this, you know, will probably tick a few boxes for you. It's something different as well, you know. I mean, these days it just tends to be, you know, loads of different horrors, and then, you know, lower budgeted action films and stuff. And sometimes I like to watch something a little bit different, and we don't get enough of films like this. So I would definitely recommend this one. You know, it's not a film of the year contender by any stretch at all, but it's one of those films that you'll watch, put on, and you'll kind of turn off and think, yeah, I had a pretty good time with that one. It was well made, and there were some fun performances in it. So give The Kill Room a chance. I think you may well enjoy it. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.